I'm going to get straight into the analysis today, no messing about, like and subscribe, all of that good stuff. But it was clear in this game that West Ham probably needed a mistake from United in order to go and get a goal. Well, in fact, they got multiple in the space of 10 seconds. Because as Juve is just simply kicking the ball away here, kicking it long, Luke Shaw up against Bowen. This is mistake number one. Luke Shaw should just go and deal with that ball, don't let it bounce. But he does let it bounce, so he allows Jarrod Bowen to get that run on him, and then West Ham can get that ball then. Luke Shaw shouldn't have let that happen in the first place. But then here comes mistake number two. Luke Shaw, Souček, he lets Bowen run off the back of him, but Luke Shaw makes a decision he's going to go and try and tackle Souček. But if you're going to do that, you have to get the ball. Luke Shaw doesn't. Souček skips past him, so instead of just shuffling him across, just trying to slow that attack down, allowing for reinforcements, instead Luke Shaw just charges in, doesn't win that ball, and you're always going to look a bit stupid doing it. But United still, even with Bowen having that ball in a dangerous area, United is still in a decent position in our box. It's 5 versus 3 in United's favour in that box, so we've still got more than enough people to deal with this situation. You've got Mbeumo coming across as well, and for me, this is mistake number 3. Because Mbeumo, he sort of starts to slow down as he approaches Jarrod Bowen, potentially obviously afraid that Jarrod Bowen is going to cut back in on his left foot, but Mbeumo just simply doesn't do enough for me. He starts slowing down and basically says to Bowen, right, go on then, you've got this channel to go and cross that ball, and Bowen obviously makes no mistake, he does that, but again then with United, we're still in a decent enough position. You've got 3 United players surrounding Souček, but Martinez doesn't do well enough in stopping that cross coming into that 6-yard box, and then Minor doesn't track that run. Simple as that. Simple mistakes, and that's what cost United this first goal in this game. Other than that then, the story of the game was West Ham making sure that United, whenever they had the ball, West Ham remained super compact in the centre of the pitch, and then whenever United moved the ball out wide, West Ham could lock off then on that one side, and this was the real story of it. United in that sort of 3-2-5 shape, the free formed with Martinez, Maguire and Dalot, and then you've got the staggered line in that midfield too then, and it's a good shape. We've had no problems with it over the first few weeks under Carrick, but in this game it just didn't really work, and West Ham made sure that the likes of Cunha, whenever they were dropping a little bit deeper, we know how much success they've had in recent weeks. Whenever Cunha was doing that job of dropping a little bit deeper, whether it was Fernandes or Mbeumo as well, doing that job, West Ham made sure that they had a centre-back or a midfielder really close to him to stop him really having a ton of space. So it just meant then that the likes of Cunha was receiving the ball in these sort of areas, and in front of the block, West Ham don't mind them receiving in these sort of positions. And then whenever United would get the ball out wide then, we didn't really do enough to sort of force a good enough situation. It was largely these type of crosses, and before the likes of Xerxes and Seshko come on, United had no real box presence, so playing these sort of balls into Mbeumo and Cunha, I mean, West Ham were pretty comfortable with it. This was the first game where you could go out and really sort of question what Carrick was doing. It was clear that United needed more box presence. I felt that before the game. I know quite a few other people did. But especially as United go into that second half, we go a goal down, Carrick was a little bit late to pull the trigger with the subs. Because this wasn't a game where Cunha or Mbeumo could find a ton of space in between the lines, and West Ham just weren't going to press United in order to open up that space. And even seeing Dalot continuously in this sort of 3-2-5 shape, I mean, it just felt a little bit overkill. In the start of the game, it was sort of fair enough, but as you run it on in the second half where United are a goal down, we kept continuing to run with Dalot in that 3-2-5, and it just felt a little bit unnecessary. It felt a little bit like, obviously, the likes of Amorim's system, where you're a little bit overly cautious, you're keeping that back three in place. Credit to Carrick, obviously, because he did change it eventually. He brought Xerxes on, pushed Mbeumo to the sort of right back spot, and that's what obviously led to United's goal, the equaliser in this game. But it just felt like Carrick was a little bit late to do it. Overall, it did feel like a game where you needed a bit more of the old school stuff. Stretch the play properly, and you just get some crosses in the box. And I think Carrick knows that in hindsight now. And you can see this was regularly the shape of United. And it was largely Ahmad creating the width from one side, but he did struggle up against Juve in this game. Luke Shaw largely creating the width on the other side, and it just largely means that whoever's coming up against United's left-hand side, that's the biggest problem for me. Because whether it's Mbeumo or Cunha out there, neither of them really want to be that touchline winger on the left-hand side. So you can't properly stretch the play with two wingers. Obviously, when you're talking about the classic United DNA, having two wingers on either side that can really stretch the play, United simply don't have that at the minute. It didn't help also that United just didn't have much luck in this game. We had the ball cleared off the line. We had the VAR call as well. You add into that, our attacking players, they just didn't show their quality in this game. All of them pretty much had bad ones and none of them really stood out. And that's what really leads me on to our squad issues, because this is not on Carrick. You're looking at United squad and there's such little options to really go out and change that game. Obviously, Seshko and Xerxes did help us in this one. But apart from those two, apart from the strikers, that's pretty much it. When you've got, obviously, Ahmad and Mbeumo struggling for pretty much the full 90 minutes, I know that Mbeumo did eventually get the assist, but for the full 90, pretty much, those two were really struggling. And United had no options really off the bench, no experienced options anyway, to really go out and change the game. You're looking in the midfield areas as well, and you've got no fresh legs in order to really revamp your midfield. You've only really got Ugarte as your senior option, and you know you're not going to bring him on to really chase a game. So again, United is just, we're really lacking those options. You're specifically looking at the left-hand side, and with Dorgu out now, we just have so little options in there. And even when Dorgu is fit, is he the type of, obviously, winger that you want in these type of games? Heavily don't think so. I think he's much more of a fullback than he is a winger. Then you've got Cunha and Mbeumo, who's played out on the left-hand side. Neither of them really look comfortable, and they both just start to wander in field, and it happens far too often for my liking anyway. I keep saying it, but in the summer, the job that Ineos have on their hands of really sort of manufacturing this squad again is a monumental summer again ahead for United, and I'm really nervous about it because we do have so many issues in this squad to really go and fix, and I don't quite know how it's got this bad, how our squad has got so imbalanced, so we've lacking so many good options, especially off the bench, and a lot of it is because Ineos went with that sort of back five rebuild, but they didn't really commit to it. So it's left United in a little bit of limbo now, and they are the ones that's got to sort it out. All in all, we can't really complain too much. It's just the fact that Carrick needs to learn from this lesson now. We've got Everton next up. That game could be very similar to this one. We've got a couple of weeks to prepare. We've got plenty of time on the training ground. So we obviously need to see Carrick obviously learning from these sort of things. The box occupation obviously does need to be improved. The dodgy press was still there in this game that we saw versus Fulham and Tottenham as well. So that does need to be sorted out. They are the sort of things that I can blame Carrick for. But the dodgy sort of imbalanced squad, the fact that Ineos did sort of half-ass that back five rebuild and leaving us now with a proper sort of imbalanced squad, that's not on Carrick. So far, he's done a great job, and hopefully now, in the coming weeks, we can just get back to winning ways. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. As always, guys, drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new around here. I'll catch you in the next one.